use headphones for best experience. Thanks for your fantastic support. Hi, welcome to another video. And first, let me show you that you can find my content also on audio streaming platforms, like here on Spotify, but also Apple Music and other music streaming platforms. So check it out. If you type in ASMRctica, ASMR, you will find a lot of albums here, audio only. Today I'm gonna try to draw the Xenomorph, the alien from Alien movies and franchise, comics, games. The first movie came in 1979, the Alien movie, and the Xenomorph was introduced in that one. But yeah, I've been watching some of the movies, not all of them. There will probably be some spoilers if you want to watch them. I have watched the 3 new ones, or like from the last 10 years or so, the Prometheus, Covenant and Romulus. And I also watched the original one from 1979 and the sequel to that one, Aliens, from 1986. I still have to watch Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and maybe, I'm not sure I will watch them, but maybe the Predator versus Alien movie from, I think from early 2000s. But anyway, this will be a drawing video and I will draw the Xenomorph. think I will zoom in a bit. So if I focus now on the head of the Xenomorph to start with. The Xenomorph has a very biomechanical appearance. They blend perfectly into, for example, the environment, the interior of a spacecraft. So they're very good at hiding. On the head, it looks almost like some coils here, metal coils. Here in front of the skull, it resembles a lot a human skull, I think. But yeah, the bone of a human skull. So actually the Xenomorph has an in some sources it says exoskeleton, but in some sources it says something else, like a mesoskeleton. So exoskeleton, that's when you have when you have the skeleton on the surface, like the outermost part of the body, like many insects have, crustaceans, crabs, shrimps, those types of animals, arthropods. I think many parts on the Xenomorph resembles woodlouse, because they have this segmented body, segments. Here they have almost like a human rib cage, but without skin, so you can see the skeleton. And mesoskeleton is a term that means that it's something in between an exoskeleton and an endoskeleton. Humans have endoskeleton, the skeleton in the innermost part, and then muscles surrounding it. Exoskeleton, it's the opposite. You have the muscles inside and the exoskeleton protecting it on the outside. So here, for example, you can see it's more like an exoskeleton. Also here on the rib cage. But on the legs, arms, it's more like an endoskeleton, with the muscles outside the bone. A very prominent feature on the Xenomorph is the extendable second jaw. They have not just this oral jaw, they also have a pharyngeal jaw. They can extend from the mouth and it's very square in appearance in all the images I've seen. Like, yeah, square, biomechanical. And it's very powerful, extremely powerful. So I read also that maybe that's the reason for the very elongated skull, because this extendable jaw would need really a lot of force and strength to be able to punch through skulls and even metal helmets. So they would need a lot of muscles here, strong muscles. I think they also use this second set of jaws when they eat, but I'm not completely sure. I haven't heard so much about these very prominent shoulders, like arches on the shoulders. They could be used for. And there are the dorsal tubes, the very mysterious feature of the Xenomorph. It's not exactly known what they are used for, but there are a lot of theories. There are typically 4 of them, but here you can only see like 2, because it's in profile. Maybe I can show you my notebook, where I have collected a lot of facts about the Xenomorph. I think I have a page here about the dorsal tubes. Here you can see the skull, the extendable jaw. One theory for the reason why their head is so elongated is because it gives them ability to move through tight spaces, maybe in caves. Here's the page about the extendable jaw. It's extremely powerful, punch through skulls and metal helmets. They use the oral jaw for biting and catching prey, and the secondary jaw, the pharyngeal jaws, move forward. Yeah, they use it for grabbing the prey, and like when they have caught it with the secondary jaw, they can draw them inside very rapidly. It's a bit like the moray eel. The moray eel has pharyngeal jaws, so maybe it was inspired from that. Here are some sketches of the moray eel. They have like the oral jaws here, then the pharyngeal here, in the throat, and when they open their mouth they can extend, put forward the second set of jaws. And the reason why the moray eel has evolved that feature is maybe because they live in small, narrow, does it say, clavicles. This is a solution that can be compared to fish. Usual fish, they feed using suction. So they open their mouth and water will automatically come into their mouth and also their prey. But the moray eel can't do that because they live in so small, narrow space. So they have evolved this function instead. Here's a chapter about the dorsal fins or tubes or spines. It's very mysterious, anatomical and biological function. Is it a sensory organ? Maybe they use them for breathing, venting, maintain constant body temperature. And here there are some notes about their feeding habits. Because the xenomorph can eat anything, not just organic material. They can eat stones, metal, and they're using their acidic blood for melting it, and then this secondary jaw can, they can first melt it with the fluid that they have inside the body, and then suck it up with the secondary jaw, maybe. And that's how they feed their cells, with energy, because xenomorph seem to lack lungs, because they can breathe in any environment, vacuum, space, oxygen-rich environments, or toxic poisonous atmosphere. So they're not, they don't need oxygen like humans. And they eat metal, rocks, inorganic material. They're liquefying it with their blood/acid. And these dorsal tubes, maybe they function as a semi-permeable membrane. So the things that they eat that react with enzymes and material, or like the digested material that they have eaten, they react with some enzymes in these tubes, because it's like blood pools here in those tubes, because you can see when a xenomorph is wounded, especially on these tubes, there will be a lot of blood, even more than from other parts of the body. So maybe they have a lot of their acidic blood there, and it reacts with the enzymes, the material digested that they digest, and then it's a chemical reaction and they release chemical energy somehow. I don't know exactly how this could work, but it's a theory that they don't have lungs, and also they don't have so many organs for the digestive system either. use more these external tubes when it comes to respiring and feeding their cells with energy. And their fingers, tail. The tail is interesting because it looks like it's not for balancing at all, because they're bipedal. At least this type of xenomorph that I have been drawing here. There are several types of xenomorph also. But they can use the tail for, it's more like a weapon actually. They can use it for stab a prey, impale victims. Just like a scorpion. You can see here scorpion with a very like sharp stinger here, the tail. And you can also see sometimes some barbs here on the tail. Just like the stingray has also spikes, barbs. A lot of spikes on the tail. Also, like they can use it as a weapon. And their hands seem to have 6 fingers, 2 thumbs, one on each side, and then 2 pairs of joint fingers. So in total 6 fingers. Some xenomorph can be seen with talons also on their feet. Maybe I can take a closer look at this notebook after I finish this drawing. I was talking a bit about the tail, here you can see. Some barbs here. And very sharp stinger. This type of xenomorph has a very sleek head, as you can see, and it's probably because it's a drone. There are drones, there are also warriors and praetorians, and also a queen if they're living in a hive. You can see here that the warriors have another type of skull with breeches and spikes, like a system of breeches. And the praetorians have some kind of crest, very much like dinosaurs, the ceratopians, I think they're called. Also the queen has this type of crest. Because they have this caste system, much like bees, ants, wasps, termites, with drones, warriors, Praetorians. Typically there are 4 warriors that serve the queen, the protectors of the hive. The Praetorians are like the royal guards, they protect the queen, the crown-shaped crest, this one. And the queen can actually turn warriors into Praetorians using pheromones. The queen has actually 4 arms instead of 2 arms, and with 4 claws on each arm. And the queen is the only known female xenomorph. She is attached to the egg sac. Because the alien reproduction, the xenomorph reproduction is very complicated, and the only known gender is the queen, that is female. The drones, the warriors, the Praetorians, they are, maybe they don't have a gender, because they have this complicated way of reproducing themselves through facehuggers, chest bursters, eggs, ovomorphs. So they probably don't have any genitalia. And the eggs can be produced in 2 ways. The queen lays the eggs, but if a drone xenomorph is in an environment without a hive, outside a hive, and without a queen, they can actually produce eggs through egg morphing or ovomorphing. Then they can cocoon hosts that they have caught and use their resin or their saliva and provide bodies with enzymes and growth hormones, and thus shape the ovomorph eggs that are including the facehuggers. I think I wrote something about the resin here, the hive resin. It functions a lot like silk spun by spiders. It's a proteinaceous liquid, and it hardens upon drying and is excreted from the jaws, because xenomorphs are drooling a lot and it looks like saliva, but it's a saliva-like fluid or like a resin that they can construct the hives with. And in the hives they can cocoon hosts that they have captured for implantation of facehuggers, but also they can create eggs from them. see a drooling xenomorph, drooling resin. And here is a picture of a hive they have created. So it's like a mix of drawing a skeleton and drawing muscles when you draw a xenomorph. Because it's mesoskeleton. I think the feet of a xenomorph is not shown so often in the movies. It's very much focusing on the head, the upper part of the body, and the tail also, that it can use as a weapon. I've seen many pictures with xenomorphs with these types of spikes or talons on their legs. And here you can see one of the thumbs and the two joint fingers in the middle and the second thumb. It's like they have their veins outside their body. And then, of course, it looks like they don't have eyes at all. And how do they see? Let's take a look in the notebook. Xenomorph Vision. How do xenomorphs see? There's a theory that they use their attack tongue for a lot of different purposes, to study their environment. For example, when Ripley discovers the xenomorph on the ship, you can see this. Maybe it's their equivalent to ears, nostrils, and even eyes. They can also detect prey by sensing pheromones. And this is because a drone won't kill a host body that is already infected. So they have to notice it somehow. They can identify someone who has an alien embryo inside them. There are also theories that they do have eyes under a thin layer of skin, like the desert lizards, for example, or some terrestrial fish or amphibious fish. So you just don't see the eyes. And another theory is that they use echolocation, just like bats. And that's probably why they produce these hissing sounds all the time. So when they use echolocation, they can see through obstacles. So in a lot of movies, you can see that the xenomorph is approaching, but they're on another floor. But for them, maybe it doesn't matter because they use the echolocation. Also, there's a theory about electroreception, the same type of method that sharks use to detect hidden prey. So they can sense and detect the electromagnetic field of what an animal produces. For example, detecting a creature's heartbeat. So that's why if you're in a room with a xenomorph, you should keep calm and not let your heart start to beat faster, because then the xenomorph will notice. They're always drooling a lot of resin. I think I'm quite happy with the drawing now. The head is so complicated. Not sure how to finish it. It's like one coil here and a smaller one here. A lot of veins or canals, I'm not sure. I'll zoom out now. very interesting, the skeleton and the material that the xenomorphs probably are constructed by. Because there are theories that they are not carbon based, like all life on Earth, for example, is carbon based. It has been suggested that the xenomorphs are silicon based, because silicon is the material that is most likely have the right structure to construct life if it wasn't carbon. So if you have to choose one other material, it would be silicon. And silicon-based molecules are very reactive to water. It means they're very unstable in water. So that makes it a bit difficult, because carbon is more stable in water, I guess. Because life always needs a solvent, a liquid medium that allows molecular machinery to interact. And water is incredible for this. It has thermal stability. And it's the only decent choice for the base solvent for life. Carbon in water is a really good combination. But if you would choose silicon instead of carbon, they are stable. Silicon is stable in the liquid hydrocarbons, which are present in the moons of the gas giants and even in sulfuric acid, abundant in Venus' atmosphere. So in some environments, there could be sulfuric acid that can be combined with silicon-based molecules, I guess. But this could also explain their acidic blood. Why they have looks like they have sulfuric acid in their blood. Silicon is really it allows forming bonds with oxygen. Okay, so silicon plus oxygen forms stronger bonds than with other. But the thing is, carbon and oxygen, it creates a gas, carbon dioxide, for example, in the photosynthesis of life on Earth. But silicon and oxygen, it will create sand or solid material. So the xenomorph couldn't really breathe silicon dioxide if they don't use their dorsal tubes, maybe for that. Maybe it's silica waste here. Silica is silicon dioxide, like sand particles. So that's also a theory for what these dorsal tubes are used for. Maybe it's just silica waste. So silicon-based life should be able to convert oxygen into silicon dioxide, like carbon-based life, to oxygen to carbon dioxide. But then it goes from high energy to low energy, and energy is released. And that's what you need. You need to release energy to be able to move and live. So silicon dioxide is very stable. And there's actually more energy here to liberate. But the problem is that while carbon dioxide is a gas, silicon dioxide is sand. Not something you want to have in your lungs if you had lungs. It's also interesting that there are actually silicon crystals on Earth, in life, organic life, single-celled organisms that incorporate silicon into their cell walls. They are called diatoms. So they use silicon to produce walls around their cells. But not more than primitive life use silicon on Earth. But yeah, maybe they're made of silicon instead of carbon is the reason for their sulfuric acid blood or liquid they use. Their acidic fluid. It's not totally sure if it's blood actually, because we don't know if it carries any nutrients. We don't know if it's carrying any oxygen. What we know is that their blood or this acidic fluid is corrosive to metals and tissues and dissolves any surface. And they can use it as a weapon. Just like the green tree ant from North Australia do. They spray formic acid to defend themselves. Also resembling a spitting cobra that shoots venom. There are also blister beetles that produce a cantharidin, blistering chemical, toxic to humans. They use it. This liquid is contained in their hemolymph, which is actually their blood, and it's released through reflex bleeding when they are disturbed. So they use this poisonous liquid just like the xenomorphs do. And here you can see Fiorina 161 or Fury 161. It's one planet where xenomorphs visited. Xenomorph Prime could be their home world if they have a home world, that's not very clear. But in some comics and games, the Xenomorph Prime planet has been described. LV-223 was introduced in Prometheus movie. It's a moon to the planet Calpurnius. Here there have been xenomorphs. And on Acheron, or LV-426, I guess the most famous moon where xenomorphs have lived. It was introduced in the first Alien movie. Another moon to Calpurnius. And Planet 4, introduced in Alien Covenant. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, listening.